Hello everyone. In today's video, the crime that was sparked off by a creepypasta story. Stay tuned to find out more. Hello everyone, and welcome back to this second installment of The Dark Ground. And in this video, we will be talking about the creepypasta story and the crime that was committed because of that creepypasta story. And if you haven't already guessed what creepypasta story I'm talking about now, I'm of course talking about Slenderman and the real life crime that two 12-year-old girls in America committed, all in the name of Slenderman. To start off, I want to for those who don't know who Slenderman is, Slenderman, it was a fictional character from a creepypasta story sent in as a competition entry on the Something Awful forum, and the Slenderman himself is an all-white being with a black suit and a red tie, and he has the ability to teleport and reappear in other places, and he also has what are called proxies or helpers that help him in his task to go after people. Slenderman is probably one of the most, if not the most well-known creepypasta story. And the amount of documentaries and videos on YouTube and videos making a whole backstory and videos making it of real life, trying to make it sound like real life accounts exist on YouTube, and it is all very quite scary, and the lore behind the story is incredibly terrifying. Slenderman also has tendrils that come out of his back. And if you haven't seen the film Slenderman, which came out in the last few years, wasn't the greatest representation of Slenderman, but Slenderman is that scary of a being. Now, to go into the crime, let me take you back to May the 31st, 2014, Waukesha, Wisconsin. Two 12-year-old girls, Anissa Wire and Morgan Geyser, lured their friend, Peyton Leutner, into the woods and stabbed her 19 times in an attempt to prove that the fictional character Slenderman was in fact real, and to appease him so he would not go after their family and harm their families. Luckily for Peyton, she managed to crawl to the road where she was found, and she recovered after 6 days in the hospital. Now, going into this crime, Anissa and Morgan had been planning this attack for a long time. Initially, they had planned to tape her mouth shut and stab her in the neck and flee from the scene. But they did not carry out that attack because they were both believed to be too tired or too groggy to carry out the act. They also had another aborted plan that plan called for attacking Peyton in a bathroom at a local park choosing the location for the fact that the bathroom had drains for the blood to drain away. But again, the attack did not happen there. The actual and eventual attack took place in a nearby forest, proper name David's Park, during a game of hide and seek. Lutner was pinned down and stabbed 19 times in the arms, legs and torso with a kitchen knife, of which had a 5-inch long 13cm blade. 2 wounds of those 19 stab wounds were to major organs. One missed the major artery of her heart by less than a millimetre, and another went through her diaphragm, cutting into her liver and stomach. Rather morbidly, Anissa told the victim to lay down because the blood will come out slower. Then, both Anissa and Morgan then told Payton that they would help her, but instead simply left. Lutner then dragged herself to a nearby road where she was found by a cyclist who just so happened to take a route he never usually takes. Anissa and Morgan were apprehended near Interstate 94 at Steinhaffel's furniture store. The knife used in the stabbing was in the bag that they carried. While Geyser felt no empathy whatsoever, Anissa was described as feeling guilty for stabbing the victim, but felt that the attack was needed to appease Slenderman. Lutner was very fortunate to leave the hospital 7 days after the attack. She would then go on to return to school in September of that year. In 2017, Wire pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree homicide. A jury then found her not guilty by mental disease or defect, while Geyser accepted a plea offer under which she would not go to trial and would be evaluated by psychiatrists to determine how long she should be placed in a mental hospital. She later pleaded guilty and was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. Wire was sentenced to 25 years to life, an indeterminate sentence involving at least 3 years locked confinement and involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric institute, followed by communal supervision until she was age 37. Geyser, on the other hand, was sentenced to the maximum 40 years to life, an indeterminate sentence involving a 3-year locked confinement in addition to involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric institute until complete resolution of symptoms or until age 53, whichever may happen first, followed by continued communal supervision, periodic re-evaluations, and/or reinstitution and further treatment as needed, as required by the sentence imposed. The following year, in 2018, a Wisconsin judge sentenced Geyser to 40 years under mental health facility supervision. While Geyser will periodically have the opportunity to petition for her release from a mental health facility in the future, she will remain under institutional care for the duration of the sentence. During her trial, Geyser had been committed to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute and was the youngest patient there. In the aftermath of the stabbing, the creepypasta wiki was blocked throughout the Waukesha School District. On the Tuesday following the stabbing, Slenderman creator Eric Knudsen said, "I am deeply saddened by the tragedy in Wisconsin, and my heart goes out to the families of those affected by this terrible act." Sloshed Train the administrator of the Creepypasta Wiki, said that the stabbing was an isolated incident and did not accurately represent the creepypasta community. He also stated that the Creepypasta Wiki was a literary website and that they did not condone murder or satanic rituals. Members of the Creepypasta community held a 24-hour live stream on YouTube June the 13th to the 14th of 2014 to raise money for the stabbing victim. Joe Jawowski, an administrator on Creepypasta website, said the purpose of the stream was to show that members of the community cared for the victim and did not condone real-world violence because they enjoyed fiction that contains violence. On the 12th of August, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker issued a proclamation declaring Wednesday, August the 13th, 2014, Purple Hearts for Healing Day and encouraged the people of Wisconsin to wear purple on that day to honor the victim of the stabbing. He also praised the strength and determination exhibited by the victim during her recovery. The city of Madison, Wisconsin, held a one-day Bratwurst Festival to honor the victim on 29th of August, several days before the victim returned to school. Hot dogs and bratwurst were sold to raise money towards the victim's medical costs. The event was run by over 250 volunteers and raised over $70,000 for Peyton Lubner. Oh, sorry. The stabbing, portrayed in the crime, resulted in extensive debate about the role of the internet in society and its impact on children. Russell Jack, Waukesha Police Chief, said that the stabbing should be a wake-up call for all parents, adding that the internet is full of information and wonderful sites that teach and entertain, but that it can also be full of dark and wicked things. John Egelhoff, a retired agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, argued that internet has become a black hole, with the ability to expose children to a more sinister world. He suggested that the best way to avoid future incidents was for parents to keep track of their children's web habits and to educate them on the differences between right and wrong. Shira Chess, an assistant professor of mass media arts at the University of Georgia, stated that creepypasta was no more dangerous than stories about vampires or zombies. She argued that creepypasta websites were beneficial and that they gave people the opportunity to become better writers. For those who are interested, a documentary film on the incident called Beware the Slenderman was released by HBO Films in March 2016 and was broadcast on HBO on January 23rd, 2017. That can still be watched online on YouTube, and they do show it on TV at times. Also, a season 16 episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit called Glasgow Man's Wrath is loosely based on the event. As well, the Criminal Minds episode, The Tall Man, aired on the 31st of October 2018, was also inspired by this story. On October 14th, 2018, a movie inspired by the Slenderman stabbing called Terror in the Woods aired on Lifetime. The film stars Ella West, Sophia Grace McCarthy, Skylar Morgan-Jones, Angela Kinsey, Drew Powell and Carrie Hood. Christina Ricci serves as the executive producer of that film. On March 31st of 2019, another movie inspired by the Slenderman stabbing called Mercy Black, starring Daniela Pineda, was released to Netflix with no prior announcement. Directed by Owen Edgerton and produced primarily by Blumhouse Productions, It tells the story of two girls with pre-schizophrenia who attempt to murder their friend, believing that a spirit named Mercy Black will offer them a gift in return. Later, the protagonist is released from psychiatric care and has to deal with the realistic and paranormal consequences of her actions. And lastly, on October 24th, 2019, more than 5 years after the stabbing, Lutner spoke publicly about her experience for the first time. Lutner, then 17, spoke of her scars, saying, "I don't think much of them. They will probably go away and fade eventually." She told the interviewers that she met her attackers in 4th grade. When asked what she would say if she ever saw guys again, Lutner added that she would thank her because the attack inspired her to pursue a career in medicine. And that is the story of a creepypasta story that inspired the real-life stabbing of Peyton Lutner by her two 12-year-old friends, Anissa Wire and Morgan Geyser. It just shows what a disturbed mind can conjure and what a disturbed mind can get themselves into because of a story and their delusional belief. And on that note, this video of the Dark Ground comes to a close. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you like this content. And I would like to leave you with some closing words. Keep the lights on and don't have nightmares. Until the next Dark Ground, goodbye.